What's going on, guys? Finally back. Skipped last week, I know. Real busy, but finally back with another gun of the week. This week was pretty nuts with work, and then this weekend had a Valentine's Day, and then also that led straight into a dynamic pistol course that we had out in Okeechobee Shooting Sports, which was awesome. Great bunch of students, and they killed it. We did a stage, and we just worked on so much. It was great, so kudos to them. But more to what's most important, and that's going to be today's gun of the week, and it is my Masterpiece Arms DS9 LOC. It's empty and safe. So, Masterpiece Arms DS9. Masterpiece Arms. They're not new to the game. They've been around quite a long time. They're a company out of Georgia, and they've made their name in the precision shooting world. So long rifle, precision shooting rifles and chassis and rifle builds for long range stuff. But they a couple years ago started getting back into the handgun market, and man, I'm gonna tell you what, they make probably one of the best handguns you can get for the money, especially when you start talking about the double stack 1911 market. Double stack 1911s have exploded in recent years, which I'm sure you're aware of. You've probably seen them everywhere with the staccatos and I mean, just you name it. You know, all the let's see what else we got. Drawing a blank, of course, but all the Terran Tactical Pit Vipers, Atlas. I mean, there's so many out there, but they range pretty extreme. So you have, actually, I'll use my other gun for example, the Stealth Arms Platypus. I got it for under $2,000 back in the day. Now they're kind of right up there at about 2,000 plus for a fully custom double stack 1911. The Platypus takes Glock mags. This one does not, but yeah, just they range anywhere from about $1,000 for the lower end. Some of the Springfield Prodigies around $1,400 and change. There's some other companies that make some real lower end 2011s or double stack 1911s, but they range all the way out there to the Atlas. They're $7,000-$8,000. So, you know, I would say you get what you pay for. The biggest difference between the two, obviously, are going to be you know, stamped parts or cheaply made, easily made parts versus hand fit tool steel grade machine, hand fit to the gun by one gunsmith. So you usually pay for that. I know Wilson Combat's known for one gunsmith, one gun, all that good stuff. But Masterpiece Arms, at least in my opinion, build on the same quality as Atlas and a lot of these other real high-end. These what I would call mid-grade. They're right in there at about anywhere between 3,000 up to 4,500, maybe even 5,000 with some of their higher-end stuff, their custom guns or their open division guns. They do a pretty wide range. I have defensive models meant for, you know, everyday carry and EDC, stuff like that. And then we have the competition models where they are specifically built and designed for competition. So this is the DS9 LOC, which stands for Limited Optics Competition. It is specifically made for the Limited Optics division in USPSA, which just so happens to be what I shoot. So yeah, that's pretty much why I got this. I had a couple of other buddies, Jonathan Menacall and my buddy Chris Galls. A lot of these other guys were running these bad boys, and they let me shoot it once, and I was hooked. I had to get it. But anyway, let's go through some of the features that it has. I did show you that it was empty and clear and safe. So it is a full 5-inch. It does have a full one-piece stainless steel grip module, so it is not a 2011 as they call it. They call this a wide body double stack 1911. So it's all 1911 parts. Hand fitted bull barrel. One piece stainless steel guide rod. On the inside sits in there. It's an 8-pound recoil spring. So this thing is pretty light, but not so light to where I'm having problems with the slide going back into battery. Sometimes you get super duper light springs and the slide doesn't come all the way back into battery. You kind of feel sluggish. I don't have that problem with this. It is tuned perfectly. I shoot 124 grain out of it, and it has no problem. I've shot 115s out of it, still no problem, and 147s also. It does have these full deep serrations. I don't know if you can see it, but it goes all the way through to the barrel. I love that. You get a real good aggressive grip there. Some USPSA competitions, you have the weapon on a table, or you have an unloaded start, meaning I got to grab a magazine, insert it, and charge it up in order to start the stage. So having real aggressive serrations is very good for that. Something else that's pretty cool, you notice there is no front sight post at all, but you have an option to put one if you wanted to. You can take out this screw, and they sell different height front sight posts depending on if you want to co-witness with your optic. But due to the fact that this gun is my primary sole purpose competition gun, I don't need backup sights. I don't need to run sights. I only run my Trijicon SRO. So this SRO is a 1 MOA dot. It's going to be hard to line up there, but it's there, I promise. There it is. It's a 1 MOA dot. Again, I know you've heard me say this a bunch, but I do like the smaller dots. The smaller the dot, at least to me, I'm able to see a crisp, small circle, and I know that, you know, aim small, miss small. If I see my small dot in the center of a target, it's going to be in that same area. I've shot it low light, it's great, and I've shot it in bright light, and I've had no issues with the small MOA dot. So I am digging the Trijicon SRO. Comes with a mounting plate. You can get different plates for different optics. Some people are complaining about the fact that the mounting plate sits so high and forces the optic high above the slide. Other guns, they mill the cutout for the optic further down into the frame, so it brings the sight lower. The only time I really find that that's an issue is when I was shooting at 100 yards. I was trying to shoot at 100 yards on Saturday, and I kind of felt that I had to aim super duper low, or was it super duper high? No, I had to aim super duper high because this was so high off of the bore axis, so that angle is more extreme. But whatever, I'm not going to be shooting this at 100 yards. USPSA, you don't shoot that far, so I'm not worried. You can see that it has these extended shielded extended safeties. So that is good for multiple things. It's a very tactile, deliberate click. Not super duper easy, which is good because if they're super duper easy to go up and down, you can hit this up on accident sometimes when you're in a rush, or obviously in a rush if you're drawing or during a stage or competition. But well, the better part of that is I can run my right hand or primary hand thumb. Obviously when I draw, I got to take the safety off, but I can keep this held down, and it's a very nice platform for my thumb to keep it up and out of the way of my support hand. What else? Let's see. So the LOC does come with a nitro fin slide lock, or a thumb rest, excuse me. It's a nitro fin thumb rest. A little bit of a tongue twister here. So this thumb rest would I would pop out the slide lock here, or install this just by pushing it in. And basically what this would do is this would give my support hand thumb a little bit of a ledge or a rest to help with mitigating recoil. I just don't like it. I took it off. I put a regular slide catch on there because this one, to me, it's so flat that I feel like my thumb has to push too far down and forward, and I start to kind of push down and push down on my shots. So I took it off. I put a regular slide catch on there. I have another one coming. I won't lie. I did buy another one. They have a more pronounced and a better angle, more vertical angle. So it really puts your thumb at that ideal angle to help control recoil. So when that comes in, I'll fit it. We'll see what I can do. Would you personally pimp out a Glock or just go with the shadow systems? That's a good question. I'm a huge shadow systems fan. I have the XR920P and I love it. And I have multiple Glocks. I have a Glock 19X and a Glock 45 that have the ramjet on there. I even tried the PPM, the Parker Mount machine, and I'm gonna tell you right now, I still like the recoil impulse of the shadow systems over the Glock with the ramjet. So you pimp out a Glock, you're gonna end up paying more than I'm contemplating MR 920p. Yeah, the MR, again, if you're going to carry it, the MR is probably the better way to go. I like the XR. I like the longer grip, more control, and more ammunition. That's just me. I don't conceal carry it. Or they shot. They do. They shoot super flat. I did a video on the XR 920p. I believe my last video. So if you go back, check that out. I talk a little bit more about it. But I also have footage on my Instagram page of me shooting it, and you see the recoil impulse, how flat it is. It's really cool. But going back to the Masterpiece Arms, trigger pull, 2 pounds, and I mean 2 pounds flat. This is a 2-pound trigger. We're empty. Barely any movement, any take up, and a nice, easy, solid press. I'll try to see if I can catch it. Almost no creep for the reset. I mean, this trigger, and I have not touched it. I haven't had it worked on by a gunsmith. This is out of the factory from MPA. Fantastic trigger. The trigger is unbelievable. The grip is super aggressive. This is their number 2. There's multiple options when you go to build these guns. You can get them in 1, 2, or 3. 1 is kind of like they say it's like a golf ball, so it's a little bit smooth. 2, it looks like a golf ball, but it's hard to see on this, but it is like almost pointy. There are ridges and ledges that come up to almost like little spikes, and they really catch in your hand. And then 3, option 3 for the grip is like, I want it to dig physically into my hands, and when I'm done shooting, I'm bleeding. That's 3. I've felt the 3, and I can't do it. It's far too aggressive. But for this, you can see it just by gripping the gun pretty normally. I get the indentions on my hand. So this is pretty grippy as it is, and this is option number 2 on their website if you check it out. But it does have a full-length dust cover and doesn't have a full rail. You could put a light on it if you wanted to be, do something tactical with it. Or if you wanted to do the tactical games or something with it, you can add a light and make it even more front heavy. But I mean, this is a 3-pound gun. It's 3 pounds. It's super duper heavy. I say super duper a lot, don't I? I'm so sorry. I need to stop. But it is really heavy. The heaviness, again, in my opinion, light, smooth action, hand fit. The light recoil spring and the heaviness of the gun is just a perfect combination. Again, I would use the word tuning. It is just tuned to recoil so smooth in your hand. And yeah, I love it. It is set up perfectly. And one of the best things about the gun, in my opinion, is the magwell. It is MPA's magwell. It comes on the gun. And one of the unique things I find about the magwell is that, unlike other magwells, if you go to insert a magazine and you are off a degree, so if you're cockeyed a little bit rushing on the way in, what this magwell does is it physically turns the magazine and feeds it into the gun. I mean, you can see here I'm almost completely sideways, and it just forces it in. So here, perfectly aligned, sideways. It just feeds it right into the magwell. It is incredible. It makes you feel like the Flash. You can just, without even looking, hit your reloads, and it's insane. So it's really, really awesome. Multiple magazines, it comes with 2 magazines. They are the MBX magazines, the Extreme. They have lock-back followers, so they're the competition followers. In competition, if your gun goes to slide lock, that's usually a bad thing. You messed up, you miscounted, you got too crazy with your stage plan. But the MBX magazines, the 140 millimeter mags, I think they're 22 rounds plus 1 or 23 plus 1. Atlas magazines work perfectly. And even the Springfield Prodigy magazines. Now this is a 26 round magazine, much larger. So many jokes, I'm not even going to do it. But it is a lot larger, and they work and they fit just as well. These are not competition followers, so they will lock your slide to the rear. But yeah, there's not too much I can say about, too much negative I can say about this gun. I haven't found anything negative yet, other than the fact that they do cost a pretty penny. But when you get into this level of competition and shooting, it's one of those things where if you don't know how to shoot very well, don't go buy a super expensive gun, because it's not going to help you. if you do know how to shoot, and you can shoot a Glock very well, or you can shoot, you know, without assistance and consistently and accurately, when you start jumping into these higher end 1911s, it does make all the difference. The trigger does help. The weight does help. You being able to transition from target to target does help. The speed of your reloads helps, because at the high levels of competition, you start getting into, you know, tenths of a second matter. Tenths of a second is everything. So you fumble a reload, that could be the difference between first place and fourth place. Obviously, your points matter too, but still, just something as simple as fumbling a reload can cost you a stage or even a match. So I will take all the help I can get on my journey to Grandmaster eventually one day. I just did a qualifier or classifier match with this, and I made it into high A class. I'm sitting at an 82%. For those of you that shoot, you know what that is, or that compete. But yeah, hopefully I'm going to do another classifier in about a month or two, and probably make master. Hopefully, we'll see. But that is my Masterpiece Arms DS9 LOC Limited Optics Competition. I appreciate the interaction. Thank you for tuning in. Doing some big things too. Getting some shirts made. I'm getting, where'd they go? Some stickers made. Kill your clone. Just, that's all you got to do is kill your clone. Be better than you were yesterday. If yesterday's you is going to come after you today and try to kill you, could you beat him? So, or her, whatever. But that's the idea behind kill your clone. And I love Star Wars, so there you go. But you guys have a great rest of your night, and I'll see you next week.